And thank you so much to Uncle Dave. Where is he, by the way? Where's Uncle Dave? There he is. And Mayor Breed, thank you so much for welcoming to your beautiful city. And I know the KWVA from the Mankato chapter is here, so thank you so much as well. And I would like to say hello the proper Korean way. I'm sure many of you remember the Papa-sans maybe bowing and saying hello to you during the Korean War. I am extremely honored to be here. And Grandpa Merle said today's Hannah Kim Day, but actually, it's actually a day to honor you, my grandpas, and those whom I would have called grandpas if they were able to return home to this beautiful state, the North Star State. I know that in just Minnesota alone, more than 750 have not been able to return home, and there are still almost 200 unaccounted for. And so I am here to really pay tribute to them. But I also want to tell you how I ended up in Rochester today. You know, when I was 22, which was not too long ago, right? I almost died from a car accident. And I promised God, being the proud pastor's kid that I am, Pastor Paul, that I would only do what God, you know, what's in my heart, which to me was maybe what God would plant in my seed. And I said I want to do something for the world, you know, to maybe make a difference, because I'm living a bonus day anyways. I'm living a bonus life. So that's when, from Los Angeles, which is my hometown, I went to Washington, D.C., not knowing anybody, just kind of like what I'm doing right now with 2 suitcases. And there, I visited your memorial, the Korean War Memorial, for the first time. I just couldn't stop crying. It really broke my heart and almost even embarrassed me that both as a Korean and American, I knew so little about this war, the so-called forgotten war. You know, in my history classes, we had a paragraph in the textbooks, whereas, you know, we studied for a month or for World War II and Vietnam. So sandwiched between these two wars, the Korean War and you, the veterans, kind of came home and didn't say much about it. And so I wanted to do something to change that and permanently honor you. And that is when I said, you know what, I'm gonna do 3 things. And I said, 1, I'm gonna try to lobby a bill to make July 27th your day, National Korean War Veterans Day. And 2, to organize an event on July 27th, which is the Armistice Day, to honor you. And 3 was to archive the stories of the veterans. And I lobbied Congressman Charlie Rangel, who represents Manhattan, but because he was a Purple Heart Bronze Star veteran, I figured he would know the importance, the significance of honoring his comrades, especially his fallen comrades. And so the bill passed miraculously, because you know what? Just kind of like I'm visiting every single state, I visited every single member of Congress's offices, all 435. So miraculously, on July 27th, 2009, President Obama signed it into law. So officially in the United States of America, July 27th is your day. No one else's but your day. I hope you take great pride in that, because you deserve that. And so I was quickly recruited to work for Congressman Rangel. I was his spokesperson and most recently his chief of staff. And I used to walk into the United States Congress every day and pinch my cheeks and say, how in the world is this possible that a child of an immigrant family from South Korea As you know, in the 50s, I mean, there was nothing, that has risen from ashes of war to what it has become today. And so, when Congressman Rangel, he's a Korean War veteran, so he's 88 now, he decided to retire. I said, I have to take now time off in my life to fulfill that third promise that I made with God, that I made with myself, that I made to the Korean War veterans, that I would archive the stories of the veterans. So I traveled all around the world to all the countries that participated in the Korean War, including China, North Korea, and Russia, and met veterans there too. And you know what? They all wanted the same thing, and that was to see lasting peace on the Korean Peninsula. And to me, that is very important as well, because there are 10 million divided families, and I believe that is why we have a lady who walked across Minnesota to promote that kind of, peace between the two countries. And you know what? Along this journey that I'm undertaking, I've met with many families of the POW MIAs who are still, after almost 70 years, they're still yearning and grieving for their loved one, their father, their missing brother. And I'm hoping that the current peace talks will be successful so that we may resume the recovery operations to bring them home. And again, 177 Minnesotans who still have not been able to come home. So, to me, Pastor Paul, you said it. It says in the Bible, there is no greater love than that who would lay down his life for another. And you know what? They paid the ultimate sacrifice. They exemplified and demonstrated the greatest love of all. And so, when I came back from the journey around the world after collecting the stories, and learned that due to the lack of funding, that despite the fact that the Wall of Remembrance Act passed in Congress that would allow a wall like this to be added to your National Korean War Memorial with the names of the 36,008 who died and 8,000 POW MIAs, I said, I have to do something. I've been with my Korean War veterans' grandpas for almost 11 years now, and I just can't turn my back, I can't. So I said, you know what is 90 more days out of my life? When you gave your youth, many gave their arms and a leg, and they gave their lives. So I said, I'm gonna go to every single state in the country, because there was a casualty in every single state, so that I could remind people that, you know what, it wasn't just a war in a foreign land. It was your uncle, your father from your hometown that went and died for my freedom, for South Korea's freedom, and for our country's freedom, because Korean War halted the spread of communism. And here I am, thanks to your sacrifices, standing right before you. And that is why I call all Korean War veterans, all of you, not because you're old, but I'm calling you my grandpas, because if you didn't fight in Korea, I literally wouldn't be in Rochester, Mayor, if it weren't for them. And that's why I call you my grandpas. And I say thank you on behalf of not just Hannah Kim, but all grateful Koreans, the 2 million thriving in this country, 7 million all over the world, and 50 million who are enjoying democracy and freedom in South Korea, and hopefully North Koreans as well. So it is with a humble and grateful heart that I'm here, extremely honored to meet you as we pay tribute to your fallen comrades.